talk about our place and bake, and it's our Pillsbury Best Cinnamon Twirls. Twirls are a wonderful addition to our cinnamon roll portfolio. They take the best of a biscuit and fill it just like you would for a cinnamon roll. So in this Twirl collection, these are all biscuit dough. So think biscuits and jam, the best of both worlds. Today we've shown you the difference between cut side versus belt side. We want to make sure that we always do basically the ugly side, the belt side up when we pan. The configuration for this is 3 by 4. But consider, what if you didn't want to have 12 of all one flavor? So since we offer a beautiful variety, we have orange, cinnamon, caramel, and chocolate in our collection of biscuit twirls, we wanted to show you how to pan up an assorted tray. The chocolate and the orange have a slightly longer bake time for their internal temperature. So we put them on the outside of the pan. The caramel and the chocolate only need an internal temperature of 205, so we put those in the center. The the orange and the chocolate are going to bake to 210 to 215, so that's why we put those in the outside of the pan. They're going to get the greatest air circulation in our oven. So this is an assorted set. Now, you have also the option, this is for individual cinnamon rolls, or in this case, cinnamon twirls. We're going to move to, this is a cluster configuration. So similar to when you do cluster baking versus honeycomb baking, we're actually putting these much tighter together. There's still space between them because these are going to get bigger, but this helps you control the footprint, the finished bake size of the product. When you bake the twirls in an individual configuration, they bloom, they spread, and then you see more of the edge on the crust. When we bake in this configuration, they're going to be rounder and have a slightly higher cone like a traditional cinnamon roll. We're going to bake both, and then we're going to show you what it looks like on the plate. Let's go ahead and put these in the oven. Welcome back. So our cinnamon rolls, or excuse me, our biscuit twirls, we want to talk, they bake at 325 degrees. That's important to note because the cinnamon rolls bake at 300 degrees. The way to remember that is biscuits bake at 325, so biscuit twirls also bake at 325. We see that our heat light is off, which means our oven's preheated and we're ready to go. We already calibrated it when we came in this morning. Let's bake some twirls. We're going to set our timer and rotate them after 10 minutes. So our timer went off. This is our halfway mark. We're going to go ahead and turn the pans 180 degrees on each shelf. And remember, you don't need to take the pan all the way out. You can see the difference. This was our cluster baking. And these are the individual rolls. You can see how they're starting to spread a little bit more. We've already got some color on the edges, and I want to warn you that this is just like baking creme brulee. It's okay if the sugar caramelizes and the biscuits are nice and golden brown. We're going to look for an internal temperature between 205 and 215 degrees on our twirls. We're only halfway there. We're going to bake it for another 10 to 14 minutes. Okay, our timer's gone off. We're going to go ahead and check our biscuit twirls for doneness indicators. We have even golden brown color. We have caramelized sugar. We're testing the second ring for a bounce back. And now we're going to take the internal temperature. We're looking for 205 to 215 degrees. They're perfect. Quick check on the chocolate. checking coils where you've got pushback. Take the temperature. And they're perfect. Let's go ahead and take them out of the oven. Hey, welcome back. So we have our beautifully done cinnamon twirls here, and this, remember, is our biscuit dough. Now biscuits are best served warm, okay, but how do you actually hold these for your service time? Well, you can't. We want you to go ahead and bake them. We're going to actually show you how to put a clear coat on, and then you can actually warm them as you need them for service, but this is going to help improve your shelf life. And clear coating simply means that you're going to put a clear coat of sugar. What we have done is, if you don't have corn syrup or any of the professional glazes like an apricot glaze or honey glaze, you can also just get a bottle of corn syrup, and it would be equal parts of corn syrup and water. If you want a heavy layer, you can go straight corn syrup, but sometimes that's tacky to the touch. But you want to bring the syrup and the water to a boil. All it does is make it liquid in consistency. So we're going to take a big brush, because this is a big cinnamon roll. And these are still warm, but we did let them cool for 10 to 15 minutes on the tray so that they could finish baking. Just like our biscuits, we use that carryover baking to set the inside texture and let the steam out so that the biscuits don't collapse. That's why we have this golden brown and delicious. So this is the point where you're going to put them in the freezer. So this will help you so that it has that air barrier. You can glaze them once you get on site, either with your customer or your trade show. Okay, but this will give you the greatest shelf life because now you have an air barrier. We use the same glazing clear coat technique for all of the cinnamon rolls and the biscuit twirls. That's your best case for handling. The exception to the rule is the K12 whole grain cinnamon roll. It's specifically designed to have this boiled sugar smear so that it looks pre-glazed from the cinnamon filling. K12 is one of the channels where they actually are controlled sugar, controlled sodium, and so you don't necessarily want to add an extra liquid sugar in the glaze just because they have their nutritional count already set. If you are serving this for any other channel, feel free to go ahead and put the clear coat glaze on, but if it's K12, that's for immediate service. They tend to bake and serve, so you don't really need to have exceptional shelf life because you're serving today. The clear coat is to help you if you're going to store the product for use for later, or if you're going to hold it in a bakery box.